potential departure. We'll learn more throughout the day.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, the phone is breaking up a little bit, so let me know if you can't hear me and I'll repeat my question. The next one we have is, are you surprised or are you a little upset that maybe you didn't know as Mayor Pro Tem, and a member of the City Council, that our own police chief is leaving?
Well, certainly, this is information that as individuals are going through a job search process, that's not typically made known to the public. So I understand the way those discussions tend to happen. And I would expect, if indeed that rumor is true, that we would be notified just as soon as the chief of police is ready to communicate that information.
And as you're on the phone with us, we just got a statement from Mayor Adler confirming what we have confirmed an hour and a half ago, saying that Houston is getting a world-class police chief. Chief Acevedo has made our community safer and closer. Losing Art Acevedo is a huge deal, and replacing him will be a daunting task, in part because he gave so much of himself to his job and his community. That's a direct quote from the mayor. Mayor Pro Tem,
yes, well, I would certainly
do you agree
with the mayor's sentiments. Chief Acevedo has been a tremendous leader in this community, and I will certainly be sorry to see him leave if that's indeed his decision.
Do you think that he is leaving, from what you know of the police chief, because of pressure from critics? Any kind of pressure that he got from City Hall? Any kind of pressure that he got from former city manager Mark Ott?
Oh, I certainly wouldn't begin to speculate Acevedo's motivations for leaving if indeed he decides to take that position. Again, though, I would concur with the mayor that Chief Acevedo has been a very good leader in this community, and it will certainly be our loss to see him go. But I have every confidence that our city manager will appoint an interim chief who will also step into that role and lead our police forces.
Mayor Pro Tem, it's John Dabkovich. I know we're obviously very, very early in this process, but personally, your preference, would you like to see this position filled from somebody who is within the department right now, or conduct a search outside and leave no stone unturned to find the next chief?
Well, I would certainly expect the search to be thorough. Whether it goes beyond this community or not is really a matter for the city manager. And I would be interested in hearing from community members, and I'm sure the city manager would as well be interested in hearing from the community. With regard to that question, I think certainly somebody from our community knows it well and knows its challenges, but also, has relationships that he or she could build on, and that's an advantage. On the other hand, Chief Acevedo came from another community and has done, a very admirable job in the time that in his tenure. So I believe it would work out well either way. And again, I have every confidence that our city manager will be able to select an excellent appointment for the interim period, and then conduct a search that will yield the very best candidate for the city of Austin.
Mayor Pro Tem, just yesterday, the City Council and the mayor talked about institutional racism, and the police chief was in charge of the DNA lab. That is now very controversial. I'm wondering if, for you as Mayor Pro Tem, is it important to get a permanent replacement into the department as quickly as possible, because they have a lot of business to take care of?
Absolutely. That would certainly be an interest of mine in seeing that position filled as soon as possible. But again, that will be really up to the interim city manager, though I imagine that we will have conversations about that as a council with our interim city manager about whether, what the time period would be for filling that position permanently, and whether it makes sense to extend the period out and wait for the new city manager.
Do you know if we have to hire a city manager first before we can hire the police chief?
I believe that I can see it working either way. Certainly, I would expect the city manager to immediately appoint an interim police chief.
Are we any closer to appointing a city manager?
Well, we're in the process of, I believe we're going to be making some decisions soon about a recruiting firm, and then the process will begin in earnest.
When will the process begin, do you think, for recruiting a new police chief? Does that start now?
I believe that if I understood your question, the last part trailed off, but I believe that we are scheduled to consider and then approve a recruiting firm, the hiring of a recruiting firm in December. And so then, that firm would begin its business of identifying potential candidates and bringing those to City Council for consideration.
And that's for the city manager, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So we might see another recruitment firm be hired for the search of a police chief?
That is certainly one way of identifying potential candidates for that position, through a recruiting firm or other means. But those decisions are really far out at this point.
Well, we appreciate your time and answering all of our questions. We certainly had many for you, so thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem
Absolutely.
Kathie
Well,
Tovo.
very nice to talk to you. And again, we'll all miss Chief Acevedo, and certainly if he decides to take that position, wish him the best success in Houston.
Thank you so much.